All right, good morning, guys. A leader with 7,600% growth hits buy point. Nice, that's an interesting one. Oh, talking about Lululemon hitting a buy point. Store count. Oh, wow. Go Lululemon. Buy with a 179 target. Hmm. Dual gender future awaits, so that's interesting. Sorry, I read a lot faster than I mentally than I do out loud. Wow, Lululemon. That's a pretty good article. So you've got store count, which are expanding overseas, so we'll go from about 400 stores to 400 and looks like 40 stores. And then you look at their profits, similar situation. They go from about 260 million to about 480 million, 490 million in 2018, which is phenomenal. New CEO took reins in August. They're coming out with new stores and they have new lines of, talk about the N. So new products. They're starting to do menswear, stuff like that. It's recently in a 19-week first stage cup and handle base. Buy point was 152.91. Hmm. All right, let's take market opened, and we've got Boot up 6%, Nvidia up 1%, Diamond Offshore up another 1%, Fort FTNT, which is a recent one that we're watching pretty closely. What's up, Nick? Had a pretty bad day yesterday. Fortinet did. Ended up coming like 80% through this recent range, and we did that last time on higher volume. Well, we had a high volume day here. Ended up nothing too crazy. Of course, that was the triple witching Friday right there. That's why the volume is so big there. We had a big volume day here. Last time we had some big down days, we ended up with a nice uptrend back up to highs. So we could do that again. I actually did take a small position yesterday. Just kind of usually counter to my general strategy. But I did that. I don't know. I think the market's really strong. I've been looking for leaders on weakness to try to add positions and things of that nature, playing around with that kind of a strategy. And this one pops up, and while it was quite a bit of volume that came in, and I don't think there was much news. Yeah, it wasn't much news at all. So anyway, so I ended up taking a position on that, at least for the rebound. But there's a possibility for even longer term gains. Um, couple opportunities. 108 is the main one. This is a measured move from this very large cup and handle right there, which I doubt is going to get that. And then, well, I may get that in about a year and a half to 2 years. I just got an alert on NAV. And why it didn't pop up on this, I don't know. Okay, trigger right there over recent highs. Looks like yesterday was a pocket pivot on NAV, so that's good. So maybe trying to get up towards this trend line, about 15%. So yeah, NAV could get going. Current volume's only 4380. Happy Friday, yes sir. 'Tis Friday. And we'll see if I can get some more volume coming in. That's not a lot of volume to start with. So good jobs report this morning. Nasdaq up 1/3%. Still going, trying to get right up there towards all-time highs, man. It's just, and the green volume, I will say, at least on the futures, seems to be kind of not totally increasing, but just kind of slowly increasing. Although we are still seeing these pops of distribution, these red candles, which isn't a good thing. But yesterday, I was in the morning time. I was like, I guess maybe midday. I'm like, maybe we'll get a distribution day, but we fell short of that, and so that's good. All right, what else? VFF looks like it's popping up 1% again here today. All right, go VFF. VFF been on this huge tear. Nvidia, Fortinet 0.84%, already trudging its way back. We'll see how it does. EDU, O'Reilly, Ameren taking it on the chin a little bit this morning again after yesterday, which was an elevated volume sell-off day. Not very good for Ameren. I think it's trying to get past all this garbage. So far having a little bit of a tough time, but it is respecting this trend line so far. So maybe not. Maybe there's not too much to be worried about. There's that trend line on my 5-minute chart. Looks like Riot doing pretty good this morning. Yeah, Bitcoin stabilizing. INS looks like it's right there towards highs, right at highs. 5 cents away from highs. Good for INS. ACB on a comeback. This could be a nice place for ACB. Looks like we had some aftermarket actions or aftermarket news stuff going on. Cannabis secures production lots in Germany. Apparently, they said that a lot. Awarded maximum number of lots in Germany cannabis production. That's pretty bullish, I would say. So ACB starting out very bullish here today. That looks good. Square looks like they're coming back a little bit, 1.7%. Yesterday was a distribution day for Square. You don't really count distribution days for stocks, though. I don't mind that news for ACB, however. Fortinet, 1%. How's Boot doing? Really good out of our trend line here. Boot's just been right there at 12% out of our little trend line right there. Take-Two Interactive hasn't really gotten going. Fortinet coming back really nicely. Sure, Rob, shoot. NVIDIA trying to continue out of a little cup on my 5-minute chart here. TTMI, O'Reilly, EDU continuing. Skyworks with nice little tightening action on the right side of that chart. Winnebago yesterday got past Ted's $32 level he was concerned with, on to 33. Trade Desk. Okay, you're still chopping around. Yeah, INSG yesterday gave up everything in the morning and came all the way back down. On it, pretty high volume too. Not my favorite setup. Good thing I didn't try anything with that. Fox getting right up towards that resistance line. Need to see how that works out there. Boot that's a new high for Boot too. Look at that. They have a new high on the overnight session of $32, give or take. And 31.83 currently. INS new high, right? Yep. New high for INS. I mean, the way this is going, it's only going to go to $80. The way this is going. Rob talking about INSG longer term time frame. It depends. It really depends what's driving the stock right now. That's the thing. So I've got them with an IPO back in 2014. You mentioned 2019. And okay, so they have that. So that right there reeks to me of an IPO because it's a neutral day, meaning there was no prior thing to base this candle to close off of. So according to my chart, it's not 2009. I mean, it could be wrong. Let's check. So interval 20 years by the month. INSG. Yeah, I don't know. It looks to me like this is a large cup from the 689 level. Yeah, I don't have it going back to 2009. It starts here in October of 2014. So I'm not quite sure how to answer that. But from there's probably a couple. Here's a stock that I was looking at way back in the day, and I can answer your question maybe with this stock. So this is ITKG. They actually make a conductive plastic, which I thought was pretty cool, and I was trading them over here. As you can see, it didn't really work out very well. So to answer your question, it really depends what's driving the stock currently. maybe INSG was ahead of its time and the world didn't need conductive plastic, and maybe now they really do, you know. And that's kind of what I was banking on over here. We had elevated volume. So I don't, when you go past like 3 to 4 years in terms of time, a lot of those people have already sold off their shares. But there is always a risk that there's some stupid person that just held on to all those shares and can dump. So what that's referring to is called overhead supply. So like here, this is kind of going back, 6 years here. So here there was some overhead supply here, and you can't say for sure that's why it dropped. Right here, I can't say for sure that that's why this failed, is all of this up here. But this is considered overhead supply. There's people with holding potential positions that are looking to exit those. And that's always a danger, but it's usually more recent, within a year or so, that becomes an issue. Other than that, it's usually not an issue past 12 to 24 months. But I like to go back a little bit longer than that, like 4 years, just in case. There's some people that hold stuff for stupid periods of time. Fidelity. My kids have a Fidelity account. I can probably go check it out. Let me see. In Seago. So let's do go to Max. Oh yeah, they do have it going way back there. I wonder why Ameritrade doesn't have them. That's an odd one. Yeah, so back that far, I don't know if I would put a lot of precedent on it. I don't know if I'd give that a lot of validity. All right, currently our high is 6, and we've definitely seen as high as 27.5 according to this chart. Yeah, this only goes back a fraction of the time. I don't know. But yeah, I think the same argument remains. It's been long enough. You're talking, it was at $10 last in 2011, 2010. It was about 10 years ago. So I would almost argue they could be a completely different business right now. And I don't know if I would give that a lot of validity. Let me see. I was on their website yesterday. INSG. Lack of growth in the bull market. So that would come down to the new in CanSlim. So part of CanSlim is N is the new factor. They could have something brand new that the market just doesn't. Well, like 5G. Like 5G, for instance. Maybe somehow they got really good really quick. It's possible. I don't know for sure, but it's possible that they got really good really quick at 5G, or they were ahead of the game on 5G. You know, I don't. It's hard to say exactly. I'm going to their website trying to see if they say when they. About Indiegogo. There we go. I mean, or it could just be that they say 5G, and so people are trading them like they're a 5G company, when in reality, maybe they don't do anything about 5G. You know, it's just, I guess that's always a possibility as well. Maybe try to find someone that's been there for 12 years and ask about, oh yeah, in the past year they just doubled in size. We got like 12 more employees, picked up a new building, boss is going to China every week, you know, something like that. And I know it's hard to do from the internet, but yeah, yeah, according to Fidelity, it's the same company, and it doesn't appear to be any gaps in the chart. Occasionally, what you'll see is another stock comes in with the same symbol, and for some reason, they relate it with the same company. I've seen that once. I've only seen it once, but this one's pretty steady though. It's a pretty steady chart all the way through. But yeah, see what you're saying with the lack thereof. So here's the chart on Fidelity. If you go back, so the IPO'd way up here in looks like the bubble. They IPO'd in the bubble. Great time to IPO, and then they crashed and never really came back. Well, here it looks like they were at about 92 cents and then went up to $25 in the course of a year or so. Looks like about a year and 4 months. Not mad at that gain. Look at that. Bull flag off to the races. That's beautiful. Not sure if we'll do the same here, but it is another nice bull flag for INSG on this monthly chart. This one popped a little bit and then came right back down. You run the risk of that, I guess. Some distribution up here, and the high here was 689. So run the risk just under $7 of that happening. But even that from 5 to 689 is not a bad trade, if that's the case. Seems to be more volume here, which is healthy. There we go. So there seems to be a little bit more volume here. Boom, boom, boom. And then now we're just waiting for the next blast off point, potentially taking us up with more volume. So I don't know if they've added shares or not. That could put a wrinkle in things, but I would almost say needs a little bit more research to see if they actually have redone themselves. It would have to be within the past year, I would say. Like, why are they all of a sudden a 5G powerhouse? And they're not necessarily a powerhouse. They're just a stock that we're aware of. They're not even necessarily a powerhouse. I mean, the volume's good, though, so. All right, what do we got here? We got Boots still up 7, Diamond Offshore. Nothing's changed much. NASDAQ 0.4%. Riot Blockchain making some gains today, about 10% off of a pretty big drop yesterday. And Bitcoin actually started doing good things. A couple of good things in the Bitcoin market. XRP started pumping a little bit. It's down a little bit right now, down about 9%. A little bull flag here on XRP, which is different than we've seen in the past, but we'll see how that one plays out. Fortinet coming back down after its pretty brutal day yesterday. A very elevated selling candle after hours right there. Not a lot of volume on this open. So we'll see how this one does. Fortinet with a big down day yesterday. Crap in its pants. Yeah, see, one thing we can do with INSG, they have, you can probably look at some of the analysis reports and maybe get something out of those. CIFS, let's check it out. Did we talk about this one already? The symbol sounds familiar. I do like this whole overall setup. You generally have higher lows out of what, I've been down here for. This is a monthly chart, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months or so. Trying to elevate in CIFS. I don't know much about the company itself, but from a charting perspective with increased volume, I'm not mad at increased volume. That's really not something I'm mad at whatsoever. Let's go take a look and see if we could see what CIFS does. 91 million market cap company. Tiny, tiny, tiny. China International Nationwide Financial Services. Oh, China Internet Nationwide Financial Services. So they do internet money. Yeah, this is that company with crazy margins. 96.8%. Yeah. There we go. 6 months show. No, a cup and handle needs a prior uptrend. You could maybe consider this a cup and handle, although the handle would be low. So this could be your uptrend, and this could be your cup, and this can be your handle. The problem is the middle of the handle should be above the middle of the cup, and this is kind of where your cup ends right there. Actually, I'm sorry. This is your cup, and this is where the middle of your handle is. You can see well below the middle of the cup. Yeah, I know. It is not a cup with handle. You have to have a prior uptrend. So here's the monthly chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So going back here, you'd have to have an uptrend like this. This is moving in the wrong direction. This is not a cup and handle. And it does matter in the stock market, not so much in crypto, but it is not a cup and handle. But this could be it starting to get going. Yes, so we ran up here. We come back to a low of 64 cents. We're up at 376, and now maybe we're going to end up with higher prices to come. It is an interesting setup. Like I said, the volume is very intriguing. And you can see it's just some tremendous volume pops. I mean, that alone, 2.5. I was going to say this may go back to 2.5. Yes, indeed it does. Although there were no news announcements. That was a massive day. You go from a low of 157. You basically go over 100% in a day. And not too many stocks do that in a day. Not too many. At least not on the NASDAQ. This is a NASDAQ stock, which makes it a little bit more tradable. I'm not sure if it'll have options. No options, okay. But usually you don't get that with NASDAQ stocks. Another day right here. And we may actually be able to see that day on the 5-minute chart right here. No, that was this day. 328. Yep, that was 328. This day was 3.4. And that's 3.8. Ah, I can't go back fast enough or far enough. So there you go. It's 225. So that's this day. Bunch of volume. They ate that thing. And then here's that next day with high volume where it drops off. See on the overnight right there, just has a huge gap. And then accumulation, and that just kind of starts to drift away. So they never sold a bunch of it. They did. I mean, there was some distribution, obviously, but quite a bit of that was buying pressure. So that's not bad. Sometimes you see these and they falter and never come back. But I wonder if I. Good morning, Ethan. Why aren't you getting dressed, Bugs? What? What? You're welcome. So let's CIFS. So let's go to the 15-minute volume aggregation tool. See what my VA tool says. Good buying throughout here, and that's on the 15 minute. Can I do 1 minute? There's those two pops on the 1 minute. Yeah, there's quite a bit of selling involved throughout that, actually. I mean, it looked like solid candles, but this is on a 1 minute. And you can see kind of, I mean, it went up. They were buying some of it, but there were some people selling pretty aggressively. We've seen the 1 minute VA tool be pretty okay. Hmm. So maybe trying to get going again. And then you end up with a huge stop loss point. I'd make that your, if you're looking to enter, I'd make that your stop loss point. I wouldn't give this a tremendous amount of room. That's just my 2 cents on it, kind of based on that volume aggregation tool. Ideally, you'd see a bunch of big green humps. You wouldn't see a lot, like especially in this candle, right? Like we went back on the 5 minute. And it looks super good. I guess you end up with some chop in here on the 1 minute that brings some candles down. Yeah, you got some nice buying. But then maybe some of this is a little more aggressive selling than it first appears. These two big green candles are sell bars. And that's what that VA tool is designed to do, is to kind of catch some hidden selling or hidden buying. A little bit of hidden selling in this one. Anyway, pick a stop where you're going to exit if it falters. I think right there probably could be pretty good. This is just too far. So that's, see, even that's about 11, 12%. That's like 37%. That's ridiculous. Too much. All right, back to regular stocks. AMRN, C-Trip, Boot, Fortinet, 1%. Coming back on light volume. Chesapeake. Oh, I didn't revisit you yesterday, Chesapeake. Trying to get up here. Looks like it's eclipsing all this area. Very nice. Lift. So this is how you deal with an IPO. You buy over the high of the IPO. That's it. Unless you form a traditional base down here, you buy here, and you don't buy before. You wait for a base to set up. That's it. Period. I think it's a great rule. I don't disobey that rule. There's just so much going on with an IPO that unless you're trading these like 5-minute charts, and then you're just kind of playing for pops here and there. But it's hard with these gaps like this. Like this gap down would have been brutal. This gap would have been nice, but you never do quite know. But so any IPO, what you do is you never buy it initially. You wait for the market to show you what it thinks about the IPO. And Facebook is a fantastic example of that, right? So is Twitter. You look at Facebook's IPO. And here's a prime example. And feel free to tip me in Bitcoin for this advice because it's really good advice. So, here's an example. Facebook's a good one. IPO'd and just went down. We could be here in lift. You never know. And then it rallied lower. This one ended up not really putting in a traditional base, but if you follow trend lines, looks like an inverted head and shoulders. There's a good little buy point. Just happened to blast off tremendously and never looked back. Never looked back. But keep in mind, this was it IPO'd in, this was a year and 2 months after the IPO. Why would you want to be involved in any of this? Even here, I don't even want to be involved here. I want to be involved after all of this and that trend line break with volume on earnings or something. Even up here, I probably would have bought. Crossing these resistance points as well. So you want to wait to see what the market does with it is really what you want to see. And Facebook is a great example. Everyone was so hyped on Facebook when it came out. And for good reason. It's worth, quite a bit more than what it is. It's at, what, 175 from 45. You're talking 7 years later. But you always wait. You always wait for the high to break out or for a base to form underneath of it. And even though this is not a cup and handle, it still is some IBD, I think, on this one. I don't remember, but I think they would have still called it an IPO buy right there. They may have gone right there on, I don't know what they would have gone off of. Yeah, see, they could have just called that a cut base with a straight up off the bottom breakout. But I don't even know if that qualifies for straight up off the bottom. Anyway, that's how you trade an IPO. Fortinet 1.43%, getting back with it. I like it. Not bad. Volume a little bit light, but we'll see what it does. Amarin, Skyworks, Acacia. Lululemon we were looking at this morning with some tremendous growth prospects out of them. Looks like they're barely broken out of a base here, or a little mini consolidation. It's not really a base. So there's a cup and handle. There's your breakout point for your cup and handle. They're up about 7%. Let me put them on my watch list here. Good morning, Eli. Ooh, my Riot's doing pretty good. How smart would it be for Lyft to buy Enterprise to rent to driver cars for $20 a day? Yeah, when you have thoughts like that, Silver, not to burst your bubble, I mean, it's nice to have ideas like that. Just write them down somewhere and set them aside, and then clear your mind for what you're looking at in the charts. Because I used to think like that too. Micron Technology, back in the day, they were like the only ones making flash chips. They were the only one making flash chips, and I had this big bright idea they were going to do this and do that, and none of it ever happened. I ended up losing a lot of money based off of that idea. But seriously, write it down on a piece of paper, put it out in the universe, set it aside, let the universe absorb it, because, yeah, you don't necessarily have to, yeah, don't make any trades based off of that. And don't start liking the stock based off of that. You like the stock when it's behaving. Right now, all you need to do with Lyft in reality, because, I mean, it's a very, very new stock. Just put an alert over 86, maybe put an alert at 85 if you want to be alerted ahead of time, and then go about your business, and then don't look at Lyft. Literally, don't look at it. If you have some kind of bias towards it, you want to eliminate all of that bias. You don't want any of it. You don't want any of that bias, so let it go. All right. Chesapeake 327, continuing further. Damn it, I wish I would have bought that yesterday. I was looking at it. I was going to come back to it. I never did. I hate when that happens. I do that. That happens to me sometimes. Damn it. I already traded that once for I traded that little leg right there quite nicely, and I was looking at it yesterday. I bet you it's already gone. I think this will get back up to this trend line. Maybe that 200 period moving average will come into play. But let's just say it gets to 3.6. I think that was my target anyway. Oh, it's actually not too bad. If it gets there in the next 7 days. Hmm. Actually, not bad. 19.3. All right, Chesapeake looking good. Market 0.5% now. Not looking too bad. Look at the volume in Chesapeake this morning, man. Good stuff. I think I actually took Chesapeake off of this. There we go. Put it back on. All right, Fortinet 1.34, Acacia. ACB was looking good this morning. Let's take a look at ACB. Whoops. Not ZCB, ACB. Pulling back a bit. You're still looking for your first buy. I don't know if you had to buy something right now. No, not Take-Two Interactive. You can wait for Fox to break out here. This one's looking pretty good. You got a nice big cup and handle here. I'm not mad at this. Maybe it'll handle out. It's not actionable, though. You're just kind of waiting for this one to go. I'm trying to think of something I saw recently that's pretty good. Well, Chesapeake's not bad. I don't mind this for a smaller trade. Like I said, just going up here about 9 or 10% maybe. You know, that one's not too bad. It's just trying to break out here, and good volume this morning. If this keeps going, maybe a 5% day if it keeps going like that before it pauses. I don't know. It's just holding those highs right here. That one's not too bad, but that's a smaller trade. We had ZTO a while back. Let's see, that's already faltered. Square looks like it's setting up pretty good. Coming out of a trend line, put in a little low yesterday. If it can get above a high here, then there's a possibility it could start rallying. I guess it just depends what your style is, Rob. What you're trying to do. Square's got, you know, that little trend line in the middle. These payment system companies are pretty hot, and Square's lagging quite a bit. PayPal, I believe, is already in new highs. That ESNT, that's a payment systems company in a cup and handle, or I'm sorry, double bottom pattern. You see the W in my top left chart. That's a double bottom. FTNT, this one, breakout here in a beautiful cup and handle right there. You know, I took a flyer on it yesterday. Down here. Probably not the best thing to do. But I did buy. I got a good discount on a trade I was looking at. Safe and profitable. Well, safe and profitable would be, so FTNT has earnings coming up here. Looks like in about a month, so we may just flounder around for about a month. I mean, that's fully possible. But in that floundering about, we could come back up to this trend line again, and maybe try to get it up here at 87 or something like that. Well, safe and profitable, I would say TQQQ would be a nice safe and profitable trade. That's something that, we were discussing, well, way back here, back when the market was falling apart. We were talking about TQQQ, and then on the way up, we had a follow-through day, and that's up at least 50% from there to there. Actually, I can probably pull up the TQQQ, and you can see. So here's the thing with the triple NASDAQ is that it went down 58%. And so here's our follow-through day, and yeah, 37%. I'm up more than that because I kind of got some. Oh, I picked up in a few different places, but up 37% in TQQQ. It still has more to go. So 17% until we hit highs. Now the TQQQ will not go to the same. So let's say the market goes to new highs here. Obviously, we won't be at highs in this particular stock because of the way the compounding works. Not as dangerous, but they have their risks. SGen, let's take a look. Popping it, so what do we have here on the weekly? We've got lots of bases. So we have an undercut there. Not much going on there. We have not much there. Looks like this is would be some kind of a base here. 18%, so probably have to qualify as a cup and handle, but a very weird one. And this would be your breakout point, 77.92. It is above that. Volume is, that's the weekly chart. Volume is okay. 45 minutes into the trading day, you got 350 out of 832. So yeah, you could see this could be breakout volume for this stock. Seattle Genetics. Yeah, it could be breakout volume. So if you want to maybe take a position, I think that could be okay. I don't know much about the fundamentals about the company. Let's check it out. The chart leaves a lot to be desired, though. I will say that. Gaps down in the middle of a base are usually not advantageous. Composite rank of 56. They're in the same industry group as Alexion, Celgene, but they're ranked 157th in that industry group. Let me just show you. So composite rating 56 out of 99. Every stock gets ranked 1 to 99. Group rank is good. EPS change is not good. Negative 120. And they give red and green dots here just as fun, quick, easy looks. Sales change is good. 50-day volume is good. Market cap $12 billion. Wow, really? This biotech stock toppled despite success in bladder cancer study. That was 328 right there. That was on that day. So coming back is pretty good. Let's see if they mentioned if they're in some kind of a base. The only thing I could think of is a really weird cup and handle because they've, yeah, cup with handle buy point of 78.16. Right there. Oh, look at that. Relative strength of 88, which is good. And yeah, it looks like it's trying to break out today. So a gap here, recent distribution, not my favorite by a wide stretch. But I guess if it's breaking out, let it break out. See what happens. You don't got to throw, don't throw a full account. You can do a position. You can do half a position if you're doing something like that. I guess maybe this could even be a cup and handle. This whole big thing, 39%. That's not too bad. Actually, this cup and handle is a lot better than this weird. Just this is a cup and handle. I wasn't thinking about that in terms before, but now that I look at it, so maybe a little bit better formed. Yeah, maybe a little better formed right now. Yeah, not bad. Go for it. And so typically how you would trade this is you would have a maximum stop loss of 8%, a maximum, implying that even if it is pulling back in low volume or anything like that, let's say you enter here, you would give it a maximum of 8% stop loss. So that would put you, if my tool would remain open, you know, wherever that puts you there, 73.20, something like that, 73.10. That would have to be your stop loss point for this one at a maximum level. Maximum. So if this thing starts pulling back on more elevated volume, you can exit early on a reversal. But a breakout should generally continue. You should have greater than 40% average volume, so this would be a good day. This is about double average volume. This would be a good breakout day on the daily chart, which is what we're looking at right here. That looks to me to be about 40% of average. So 40% of 818 would be, what's 8 times 4? 32. So 32 plus 18, yeah, about 120 something. So this is about 40% of average volume. So you want to get about there with your volume throughout the day, and it's doing okay so far. Not bad. TTMI over trend line here, and it's been kind of steadily getting higher. A little bit of selling, but it's topping towards the top of our list at 1.8%. Chesapeake looks like it's showing a little bit of distribution. To be expected, it's not going to run straight up. It'll pause at some point. Hopefully it doesn't come in too far. Hopefully we just kind of chop around maybe above this level here, about 327. INSG. I'm going to get going a little bit early, guys. I got to take the kids to school today. Wife's got a thing. Square doing pretty good. Made a new trend line out of Square. I should have had this over here. I should have drawn it right there when that happened. What I should have done. AMRN looks like it's trying to come back off that little trend line there. I think we talked about that trend line yesterday. Maybe it was this morning. And Boot getting on with it. Almost new. Looks like Boot's trying to break out of a really large cup and handle pattern. Really large cup and handle pattern right there. There's your buy point, and we're breaking it right now. And how's volume? Tremendous. Volume's tremendous. You can maybe take a swing here at Boot if you want to, Rob. You could maybe take a swing at Boot. So your weekly potentially breaking out of all-time highs at 34.50. That's not a bad one. Let's see if Boot's fundamentals have improved or unproved. 92 composite rating, number 2 in this industry group. 43 EPS. I'll show you guys this one too. So there's 92 composite rating. Lululemon is the only one outperforming it in terms of its composite rating, which is good. We just talked about how Lululemon is killing it. Industry group rank sucks at 108. EPS 43%. Last 3 quarters average EPS growth is 347%. Obviously can't maintain that forever. That's my revisions. 3 years EPS growth rate. Sales change. I wish this was higher right there. I wish I was like 35% in line with EPS. 43%. That'd be pretty good. Pretty low market cap, just under $1 billion, so plenty of room to grow if things improve. 96 relative strength rating. And already breaking out here. B accumulation, 1.8 up-down volume is good. I wish these would be a little bit higher. Change in funds owning stock, only 4%. And you're not seeing a ton of big volume pops. You see a few. So, Boot doing pretty good. And definitely breaking out today with good volume. I could see this, this had a really nice run out of these lows from 15 up to 30. It's already doubled. That's a pretty quick double. So we'll see what happens there. But all right, guys, I got to run. Take the kids to school. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend. And have a good weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.